This is an official tutorial video on how to make homemade delicious creamy kefir using Tayyiba Farms kefir grains. So kefir is a thick fermented drink that tastes a lot like plain Greek yogurt. It's kind of sour, it has a little bite to it, but it's ultra creamy and it is so good to add to any diet. It's chock full of calcium, protein, vitamin B. It has gut-friendly probiotics, so it's definitely something that you want incorporated into your diet. So a fun little fact is you cannot actually grow your own kefir grains. You have to acquire them, which you did through Tayyiba Farms, but then once you do have them, you can use those grains over and over to continue to make more and more batches of kefir. So the grains are not actually true grains. They're kind of a rubbery cellular structure. So they're just called grains, but if you have a gluten intolerance, you're totally fine to use those. They don't have actual grain in them. And how the origins came about on how kefir started is a fun story to look up. Like if you do an internet search, there are a lot of legends and lore and stories on how the first grains came about, and then they have been passed around from generation to generation and even fought over, and so it's a fun story to look up. So the grains are really the engine that fuel this whole process. They contain the yeast and the bacteria that react within the milk and ferment it and turn it into the delicious creamy kefir. So the only other ingredient that you need is your milk. I like to use whole milk, but you can gradually decrease to a lower fat content like a 2% or 1%. You can use milk alternatives such as buffalo or goat, but it might change the consistency, make it either thicker or lighter. For nut milk, you can really only get 1, maybe 2 cycles with the kefir grains. After that, you do want to transfer them into an animal milk. So your day 1 of assembling and making your kefir, your first step is to just make sure everything is clean. You want to wash your hands, you want to wash all the materials with a non-antimicrobial soap. Just a mild dish soap is great. Also, you want to use glass and plastic. The kefir grains do not like metal, so make sure you don't use any metal products. Then we're going to start with 1 tablespoon of the Tayyiba Farms kefir grains, and we're going to put those into our quart jar. And then we just add our 4 cups of milk. And this, we just cover. You want to use a cloth, or you could use a couple layers of paper towels or some coffee filters and secure with a rubber band. And then this is going to sit for 18 to 24 hours. You want to have it in a dark, warm spot, and usually around 18 to 29 degrees Celsius. And it will ferment and start to thicken. And then we'll come back tomorrow and see that process. We're on day 2 of our process to make kefir from the Tayyiba Farms grains. So it's been 24 hours, and you will know if the kefir is done when it has thickened to a yogurt consistency and definitely has a fermented smell. So we're going to take that off, and you can see that yogurtiness, and it has the fermented smell. So then our process, as a reminder, everything needs to be washed, your hands and everything that this will touch, with a mild detergent. And then you want to use a fine mesh nylon strainer because you don't want to use metal. Everything that the kefir touches needs to be plastic or glass, the nylon, no metal. So we just pour that into our bowl. Just gonna slightly strain it and push through the kefir drink, but keep the grains. You want to save as many grains as you can. So then we just rinse this jar, and the grains will go back into there, and then you add your milk and continue the process all over again. this kefir drink, you can drink it. It has a slightly sour bitterness to it. It is also great for cooking with. You can put it in smoothies, you can use it as a replacement for buttermilk, you can use it for ice cream, you can use it for cooking with baked goods with. So this will store in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks, and you can keep it just like this. For our next phase though, I'm going to show you how to turn it into a second fermented drink that you can sweeten and flavor many different ways. I will flavor it with a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then we're going to use some raw honey. You can flavor this however you want. You can do some fruit, like blend up some strawberries or mangoes, or maybe mangoes and strawberries together. You could use cocoa powder, you could use dates, you can use the items like what I'm using. The possibilities are endless for all sorts of flavored kefir drinks. And we just put the lid on, give it a good mix, shake it up, and this will ferment a second time. We're going to let it ferment for 12 hours, again just in a dark, warm spot, and this will be a sweeter, more palatable drink. So we'll come back in 12 hours. And we're on our final day with our kefir drink. As you can see, if you come in closely, we have bubbles at the top. It has fermented for an additional 12 hours and is now ready to drink. So I'm just going to give it a little mix, shake up the bubbles. And as a recap, the second fermentation is the one that you flavor and can make a lot of fun different combinations. And then the first fermentation is one where you can drink it, or you can use it to cook with and supplement regular milk. And then you get all the health benefits of your kefir drink. And you have a delicious, healthy, wonderful yogurty drink. So keep using your kefir grains from Tayyiba Farms and make this drink over and over again and enjoy the health benefits.